Welcome, everybody. I'm joined by Ralph, and we are here to talk about the Middle Earth CCG World Championships. So this is a fun one. I haven't done much content on Middle Earth CCG. I did a top 10 card video with Scott Church, and I wanted to do a little bit more. And Ralph reached out to me to talk about the World Championships that they're hosting in Sacramento. So we're going to have a conversation today about the event, about the game, about building a community within dead CCGs, which I think is a really interesting and fun thing to do. But Ralph, do you want to introduce yourself? How'd you get back into this hobby? Where are you at? And then we'll get to the event and some of the nuts and bolts if people want to participate, which it sounds like a lot of fun. If I was in California, I'd definitely show up, but unfortunately I'm not there. So welcome, Ralph.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody. My name's Ralph Montano, and I am also known on some chat boards as Goblin King. I'm a big fan.
It's a great angle.
I'm a big fan of the Middle Earth CCG, which came out between 95 and 99, and it went out of print. I've been playing it ever since. I started when it started coming out and continued to play it. So it's always been my favorite game, and I've just kept going with it. And it just so happened that I saw an opportunity this year to create a national tournament and bring the national tournament back to the United States for the first time since 2014 was the last time a national or world's championship was held in the United States. So this is the first time it's returning. The game has continued to live very well in Europe. In February of this year, they had Lure of Middle Earth it was the 20th one, I believe, in a castle in Germany, and it had the largest attendance of 175 people this year. They have actually capped it for next year at 200, and it is sold out.
Awesome. I love hearing this about these communities. I got to ask, are there virtual cards or anything that, like new cards that players have printed? Because I think with a lot of these old games that the meta just gets solved where, do X, Y, Z, and you will probably win the game. So are there sort of virtual cards that have come
out? There are actual virtual sets. There are several of them. The latest ones take place in the high northern region of the Middle Earth area. But there's 4 or 5 virtual sets as well as and people have actually printed actual card sets. I have several of them.
Cool. So will these virtual sets be included in this World Championship, or are they sort of officially sanctioned, or are they sort of is there a players committee like with Star Wars CCG? There's a players committee that is sort of a governing board.
Yes, there is yes, there is a players committee. It's called the Council of Elrond. They have a website, councilofelrond.org, and they are the governing body over the community at this point. They, as far as the world tournaments go, they usually hold side events and they call those community created cards dream cards, and those would be dream card events. But the World Championship only involves original cards that were actually printed for the game from 95 to 99.
So I'm just going to screen share here quick so you can look at the Council of Elrond's website. Folks want to, find resources on set lists, rules, players guides, forums here. So really great, just basic community tool here is this Council of Elrond website, which I actually really like this art here. I'll just say that. So just for folks' reference, you've got stuff here if you want to print out or not print out, but I guess just sort of reference here. So just for people's awareness that this is what the website looks like, and it's councilofelrond.org. Do we want to talk a little bit about the actual event coming up? So it is in November, so people maybe should save the date here, but this is the website for it. So it's going to be at the There and Back Cafe, which I am super jealous that this exists because it seems to be like a very cool little cafe. Like it's just a Middle Earth. I'm just going to go to their main page, but it's a Middle Earth themed cafe. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a wonderful place. when you walk in the door, you look down at the ground and there's a massive map of Middle Earth, and you feel like you want to haul out miniatures and just start playing on the floor. Um, but it's a wonderful place. They opened up a few years ago, um, and they're really starting to take off as kind of it's a cafe slash gaming community. You show up there. In fact, this coming up weekend, they're hosting a Catan tournament for nationals, and then they are kind of my co-sponsor. I just basically, it was because of the cafe. I wanted to create, when they were opening up, I wanted to create a community um, where we could just start playing this game there, because and meeting my friends there. And I had a small group of 4 or 5 of us that would gather, and we were just gathering at game stores after the pandemic. But I was like, hey, let's start gathering here, and let's start holding a Friday night for a couple of the local folks, and we'll just play every Friday night. There was also the Magic group that was playing on the same night, and with the Magic version of Lord of the Rings coming out, that seemed like a good opportunity to maybe meet some people and do a little cross pollination. So, anyways, we started that way, and then the owner was very interested, and he has an old collection of cards, so we talked about that, and from that came he mentioned that there's a convention space right above the cafe, and it's like, wow, I can rent that space. And that's where this uh, idea of holding I thought initially a national tournament at that location would be a great idea. And then right around that time, someone posted on the chat board on Council of Elrond, hey, we could really use somebody to organize a tournament for Worlds and bring it back to the United States or the other side of the world for and so I just said, well, okay, I'm going to do it. and here we are. Um,
Well, I'm so happy that you said that you're going to do it, because I think that this sort of stuff, this community building, it's just good for the soul, right? It's nice to know that, because so much of collecting can be a solitary habit, right? You're sitting here, you're putting your card in a binder, they put the binder back in the shelf, you say, oh, it's there. But it's really unlocks a lot of the fun of these games and of these hobbies when you can interact with other people and you can realize that, hey, this Balrog is valuable, this One Ring is valuable, because it's also good in decks, and it just adds a whole nother component. And I think rediscovering that just because something's out of print doesn't mean it's not good, right? Like a lot of
yeah.
you know dead things or dead games are still great games and should be enjoyed. And so I'm really happy that you guys are organizing it. But maybe we'll get into the nuts and bolts here. So it's going to be, I guess this is 3 weeks from now, in California, in Sacramento, California, November 10th to the 13th. So do you want to kind of talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, we'll start out on Friday evening, and it goes all the way through Sunday. The first night is going to be kind of gathering and playing some casual games, and also some. Um, we've also made the whole event available for people who either don't have any cards, who are brand new, or just interested in Lord of the Rings, or people who are returning to the game. Maybe they have a collection that's been sitting in their closet for 20 years. They can bust those cards out, or maybe they just have a collector's collection and they would actually like to learn how to play this game.
Mm.
We're interested in igniting those players and giving them an opportunity to learn the rules. We have a format called Arda, or I call it Arda, the Wizards of Middle Earth, or Nazgul of Middle Earth, and that's a big game cube that allows them to learn how to play without owning any cards. We also have the game put out 10 pre-constructed decks, and those are 5 Nazgul and 5 Wizards. We're going to play tournaments with those, so it doesn't require any ownership of any cards to show up. There will also be vendors selling cards. We'll also be giving cards away to people who play in these events. We have some people who have donated sealed decks or starter decks or booster packs, and we're going to be giving those away to those who are joining our community. While people on Saturday are going to be playing the rounds to determine the World Championship. Um, so it's a Swiss format tournament on Saturday, with as many rounds as we need to determine. You'll have a ranking of a top four, and then the top four will play a round robin tournament on Sunday morning. You'll play each opponent once, and from that, we'll use the tournament point system to determine who is the 2023 world champion.
That's super cool. And I really love that you guys are spanning the gamut of gamers here with newcomers or people that just have, like, I'm in this bucket. I have a shoebox full of these cards that I inherited from a friend because he knew I was into Lord of the Rings stuff. He's like, I have these Lord of the Rings cards. I was like, oh, interesting. And then I looked, I was like, this is not the game I thought it was, but this is still really cool. So I wasn't quite sure what to do with it, and it's just been sitting there. And if I was local, I'd love to come out and just have someone help me build something or utilize these cards. But I love that you guys have from newbie all the way up to you've been playing this for 20 years. Do you want to talk about attendance? So how many folks you're not in a castle in Germany? Do you have a sort of estimated idea of how many people you want to be there, or are you capping it? So folks listening that maybe are semi-local that want to come in for it, will there be tickets available?
Right. So we have the first 40 people will get a pair of custom dice to play with the game. Our cap, honestly, the fire marshal says the cap for this is 178 people. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near there. Honestly, I'm just going back to 2014, which was the Worlds I attended. That event had 16 people, so that's really my bar. I mean,
Sure.
this is the first year we're having this event, and it's only been 3 or 4 months. We don't have any established history, so I'm not going to set my bar really high. I did put the thing in there at 40 um, uh, for the dice, but I'll be happy with just having people with this community gathering. I know that there are some people who are coming from the East Coast, and it'll just be great to meet people and just share our passion for this game.
Yeah, I always think of gaming like I enjoy the aspect of gaming, but the things I enjoy most are the margins. It's the before, it's the after, it's the board games or whatever you want to do, beers or dinners. That feels like the heart of it, because that's the warm fuzzies that I get. I'm like, oh, these are people that I've maybe been communicating online with for years, and now we're all hanging out, and I didn't think this was possible. And I feel like I'm truly being transported to a different place. And just for a weekend, it feels like truly I'm doing something totally different than my 9 to 5 job, or whatever it is I do normally. So I think this is really great. It looks like you have some interesting prize support here, including a key to bag end. So it looks like kind of a fun little custom thing you guys got done. It looks like tickets are $50. Is that correct for the tournament only? But if people want to just come and play, then are they going to have to pay that fee, or is it just?
Yeah, that's for that covers everything for attending. You'll have 3 days of playing. If you're
Mhm.
playing, the in the non-tournament game, you'll play as many rounds as you want in the others, and again, you get prizes in the other formats of games that you're playing.
Okay.
So it is $50. That helps us cover the space. There's a second option if you want to include 3 meals um, in that 3 days. Then you can pay $100, and that will include 3 meals in addition to your
Okay,
admission.
so just so it's there's no, like, if I just want to come play in a cube, I would still need to pay that entrance fee. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. As someone who just threw a baby shower, venue renting is expensive. It is for folks that say, "Oh, it's $50 a lot of money." Like, well, if you think $50 is a lot of money, try renting a venue, and you're going to realize that's much more money than this. So I think that this seems like a really great deal for all that you're including, as well as just a weekend of fun. $50 is unfortunately just a couple drinks and a meal nowadays. So I think you're getting quite a bit of value for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like you, I'm really looking forward to just, reconnecting with some people. I know that we're here in, maybe some that came in 2014. I know that there's one particular person I'm looking forward to seeing. He was 6 years old when he was at the last Worlds. His parents, he was amazing at that point. He had the text of every card memorized. Um, and now he's been raised playing this game, and he's going to be playing in the World's tournament. And I think he may be a sleeper as far as unranked person. He may give some former world champions a run for their money if they show up. So we'll see what happens.
Well, super cool, Ralph. So this event is 3 weeks away. So hopefully, you get just more people than you ever expected, because that's always a pleasant surprise to see who kind of comes out. But maybe we'll do a video afterwards and kind of do a wash of what happened, how was it, and kind of do a little follow up to close the loop here, because I'm interested to see how this goes, because I think you're creating a model here for other games like this, whether it's the X-Files CCG, or like there's lots of these communities that are all trying to do like, hey, there's no corporation printing this game or running the rules. Like, why don't we just do our own stuff? And I think that's so good for the soul, if you will, to just take your passion and to really actualize it, right? And you're like, oh, I can, if I want to do a tournament, I can do a tournament. No one's stopping me. There's no police board of what happens. So I think this is really great. Any kind of final thoughts here for folks?
No, I just want to say, thank you to Board Matt for having me on. And please, folks, go visit the website. Come out and see us in November if you can. And we'd love to see you, and muster for Middle Earth, and please come out and join us.
That sounds great. So November 10th to the 13th, Sacramento, California. Sounds like a really fun weekend ahead. I wish I could be there. But Ralph, thanks so much for telling us about this, and we'll see everybody next time.